So, guys, I just have a little update on the case that I was talking about a couple days ago with the 14-year-old girl that was shot in back of the yards. And by the way, we just had the very next day after that a 15-year-old girl that was shot in a car right downtown on Lakeshore Drive. And that seems to have been completely random. Somebody just pulled up next to their car and shot it and hit this girl. So, prayers to that 15-year-old girl, man. It just shows how dangerous Chicago is for, even young girls, man. But we got some more details about what was going on and the backstory to why exactly this 14-year-old was shot. So they're saying that this is believed to be linked to a conflict between new gangs in the area and the old gangs in the area. So I had said that territory where she was shot was right between the 2-6 and the Saints. But I wasn't sure who was right at that block. Well, apparently, like right at that block, the closest gang to there is like the party people or the party players, whatever you want to call them. To be honest with you, that's not a gang that I'm all that familiar with. Okay, I don't even know. Like, I've never actually met one of their members. Okay, and I've met most gang members. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've met somebody, at least a few people from most of the gangs in the city of Chicago during my lifetime. But that gang, I've never met a member of that gang, to be honest with you. So, and I don't know of any of their neighborhoods around, like where I'm at up north or out west. So, like I said, I can't speak from firsthand experience about that gang. But the aldermen from over there and, some of the police and stuff now are kind of talking about this. So, the shooting of a 14-year-old girl, they're saying, in back of the yards is believed to be linked to an ongoing conflict between a long-entrenched gang and one that is relatively new to the area. So the girl remains in critical condition. She was with her boyfriend in the 1700 block of West 48th when members of the party people walked up on Wednesday evening and asked what gang she belonged to. And that's according to Alderman Raymond Lopez of the 15th Ward. And he got those details from the police. So the 7th grader, one of the gang members, fired twice, hitting her in the head. So it was party people. That's, the exact conflict that was behind this thing. For those people who were wondering about that. And the alderman said it was 100% gang related. And so the party people had been moving into the area recently, they said. Now, I'm not sure if that's actually true or if they've been there for a long time. Sometimes sources in the media can be a little bit off. So I'm not sure how long the party people have been there or if they are in fact new or if they're old. But they were saying that they're new. But I'm not exactly sure that that's 100% verifiable. But they have members in both the high school over there and the middle school over on the southwest side. So their members have been over there on the block where that girl was shot. Okay, now as far as like gang members, I'm one of these people who says, because this is a huge issue in the schools. Okay, having worked in the schools for 15 years, the high schools, I can tell you, the best advice that I can give the students is, you be polite to the gang members, but you don't like get close to them. You know what I'm saying? You don't like be homies with them. Go over to their house and kick it and all that kind of stuff. Because, if you get close to them and get to the point where you're like real close friends with these dudes, you're basically an op. You know what I'm saying? Because like the ops are just like anybody who's really close with these dudes is a target. Okay. And so I highly recommend not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like when you see them in school, what's up, all that kind of thing, but nothing really beyond that. And never, I'm saying this for the females, never, ever, ever date a gangbanger. Now I know a lot of you females, you've told me personally, okay, girls have told me this personally, some girls only date gangbangers, okay? You're suicidal if you do that. You're straight up suicidal. You think like 9 times out of 10, okay, you look at these homicide reports, you look at like what happens when one of these women is shot, she's with a dude who was the intended target. Okay, you don't want that to be you. He's not going to be cute when you're leaking out on the concrete, okay? Just think about that moment when you decide, whether or not you want to actually shoot your shot with this dude. So the Saints, okay, according to the alderman over there, have a decades-long presence in back of the yards, and they're believed to be responsible for much of the violence, including the 2018 shooting of a federal agent with the ATF, okay, who was doing surveillance of a house near 43rd and Wood. And you guys might remember that incident. So one of their members is actually serving a 200-month federal prison sentence for that shooting. So according to Lopez, the party people are relatively new to the area with a stronghold over at 47th and Damon, which is a half mile from where the 14-year-old was shot. So there was a video posted on YouTube about a year ago where party people were taunting the Saints. Okay, and the members are young and they've been involved in a lot of vandalism, according to the alderman. He said they've been a nuisance more than anything. Seeing them graduate to shootings is very unfortunate. So apparently these are like shorties, okay, these party people guys. And when the Back of the Yards neighborhood has seen a sharp drop in homicides from last year, residents said that there have been more shootings recently. So Lopez said that officers are keeping a close eye on the neighborhood to prevent retaliation. And police have released a few details of a Wednesday evening shooting, including a description of the gang members and the SUV that they fled in. It may have been a Chevy Tahoe, according to a police spokesman. And the girl was taken to the hospital where she's in critical condition with a gunshot wound to the head. She underwent surgery that very night. Please take my advice to heart. Now, as far as like the party people presence over there, take that with a grain of salt. I'm not saying that the alderman is wrong, but I'm not 100% sure like how long that gang has been there. It may be that they had older guys there, but that there's a new generation coming up or something like that situation. But these new shorties, apparently, they're on their own thing. But yeah, man, just, exercise caution around here. And like I said, never, ever, ever answer that you have any family members in a gang, or that, like, no, I don't gangbang, but all my homies do. Like, you never, ever want to say something like that. You know what I'm saying? At least just say I don't gangbang. Me personally, my advice is to say, the part of the city where you're from is an answer to that question. People were asking in the comments on the last video. I saw people asking, like, how do people in Chicago ask what gang you're in? Like, how do they ask your gang affiliation? And I saw people giving them different answers. The way I've always had that question asked to me is, where are you from? That's what they ask you, where are you from? Okay, so that's actually good, because if they're asking where you're from, you can easily just go off in the other direction, like deliberately answering it the wrong way by saying, I'm from the north side. I'm from here. I'm from this neighborhood. Or no, actually, you wouldn't want to say I'm from this neighborhood. Just say, like, I'm from the south side. I'm from Chicago, born and raised. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Say the physical, topographical location where you're from. Don't answer nothing that could give them any hint that, you're part of anything. And don't say I'm a neutron or that I don't gangbang, because that's what the ops always say. You know what I'm saying? That's what the ops always say. They say I don't gangbang, or I'm just a neutron. Okay, you want to say I'm from the north side, I'm from Illinois, I'm from Chicago, I'm from Mexico, I'm from Puerto Rico, you know what I'm saying, whatever. That's my advice. You can disagree with that if you want, just what I've learned from experience, man. Now, again, there was a lot of like anti-violence marches this weekend, man. We had something called Gun Violence Awareness Day, and Chicago marked this day with marches, art, and community events as the city is seeing a rise in the shootings, particularly involving children. So a guy named Jakari, a 6-year-old kid, and his friends hope to have an enjoyable and safe summer in Inglewood. So a Teamwork Inglewood leader named Fatal Perkins hopes to make that happen through the organization's newest anti-violence initiative, which is called Time 2136. So what this is TIME is an acronym meaning this is my Inglewood. And this represents the zip codes. 2136 represents the zip codes of both sides of the community, he said. So the group and community plan to occupy Moran Park at 57th and Racine, which is a constant nexus for violence, to not only change the narrative about the infamous Southside neighborhood, but also help neighbors bond together. So they're actually going out there, and I like to highlight stuff like this, man, and cover this stuff in my videos, because I don't feel like this gets enough attention. You know what I'm saying? When they have a march against the police, it always gets a bunch of attention, but when they have marches like this, it doesn't get no attention, man. But he said, we have generators, barbecue grills, TVs, and anything you can think of. We pretty much ordered it so that the park can be flooded with just positive energy all summer, man. So shout out to them. They're bringing a lot of people out, a lot of eyes, a lot of adults going to be out in the neighborhood, man. It's going to be much more difficult for people to do some craziness over there, man. He said, we're going to reclaim this park. And I'm telling you, man, this is the type of thing that's very inspiring. So in Marquette Park, a motorcade promoted unity, a stand of solidarity between communities often fractured by gun violence. So they said a lot of this sparked within the last year. There was a division between black and brown communities, they said. We thought, what better way to show us together? And this is according to a guy named Joseph Williams, who's the member of Mr. Dad's Father's Club. So the black-brown thing, to be honest with you, man, that's mostly between, like, guys who are in the streets. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, I think this is one of the big misconceptions about Chicago, which is that, like, blacks and Mexicans hate each other here. The people who don't gangbang and who aren't in the streets, I see them getting along. I mean, that's been my experience, man. Like, the blacks and the Mexicans that are, like, not street dudes, they get along. Okay? It's just like the street dudes. You know what I'm saying? But he said, I felt like it helps us because not only are we showing it, but we are talking between each other. And that's according to Elizabeth Argelis. She's the member of an organization named Increase the Peace Little Village chapter. She said, we're building solidarity by actually being here and having conversations. So shout out to them, man. They're getting ahead of the action, man, doing preemptive stuff to keep the peace between the black and the brown this summer. And they said even just getting together, gathering creates a kind of safe haven. So in Chicago, Gun Violence Awareness Day is also known as Wear Orange Day, which was started by the parents of Hydea Pendleton in 2015 on what would have been her 18th birthday. And they said it's now observed nationally on the first Friday in June. So that was yesterday. So they had an art exhibit over at the Epiphany Center for the Arts in the West Loop. And so shout out to everybody that participated in this event, man, and came out there into the neighborhoods, retaking these parks, because the parks are a big, hangout for gang members. You know what I'm saying? So this is where a lot of the conflict starts. And man, hopefully this type of thing can get more attention, man, because like I always see, people in the comments talking about like where's BLM and all this kind of stuff on, whenever somebody gets killed. The dudes here in Chicago, I'm not talking about Black Lives Matter, but, the community activists here in Chicago are very, very, very active against gang violence. Okay, they are very active against this all the time. And, you can say, well, there's still gang violence, though it's not working. I mean, how do we know it's not working? How do we know how much worse it would be if these guys were not doing what they're doing? You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. It's your boy Winnie C. Report. I'm out.